I'm alive, I'm alive. Can't believe someone gifted a sub to Lando. That's crazy work. Fly, I can fly, I can fly. Alright, we're live on the tubes. Alright. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the driver ratings for the 2025 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Let's get on into it. If you're over on TikTok or YouTube, come over to the Twitch stream because that's where you'll be able to vote on some polls to rate the drivers. Now, if it's your first time tuning on into the driver ratings, basically how it works is we'll go in reverse race finishing order and rate every single driver from 1 to 10. I rate purely based on performance. There's no rookie bias. There's no expectation bias. So if a driver is expected to be hit, no, we just rate purely off of performance. We rate their qualifying and their race as together as one ranking because qualifying obviously shows your performance and obviously sets where you finish in the race. Just because you make up positions in the race, and we're prefacing this for a reason, just because you make up positions in the race doesn't mean that it disregards your bad qualifying. And yeah, basically, like rating of 5 is like an average. So below 5 is below average. Above 5 is above average. And 10s are saved for perfection. 10s are saved for perfection. So let's get on into it. First driver we have got is Pierre Gasly. And the poll is now up. So this is how the polls will look during the driver rating segment of the stream. Basically, you type in Twitch chat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever you rate them, and it'll pop up on the poll. And then we discuss it and we kind of rate the drivers together. I'll kind of give my final like rating. Yeah, that's how we are gonna do it. So let's get on into it. So starting off with Pierre Gasly. I'll be completely honest. Can't really rate him. You know, he didn't even get to do a lap of the race. It wasn't any fault. It wasn't a fault of his own, I should say. As we spoke about earlier on in today's stream with the Grand Prix review, I do think it's Yuki's fault. So it's hard to judge him based purely off of qualifying. Before even we talk about him, I'm going to give him an INC or an inconclusive. That's what I'm giving him. I'm giving it inconclusive. Anyways, let's talk about how his weekend was, though. So, Gasly qualified P9. He out-qualified Jack Doohan in Q1 by 0.3, which doesn't sound like a lot, but considering Jack went out in Q1 and Gasly went all the way through to Q3, it does show that Gasly did a really, really good performance. I think Alpine was probably tied with Williams for like best of the rest car. So yeah, then in Q3, Gasly got out-qualified by Yuki, who we know is obviously struggling in that Red Bull at the moment, as well as Lewis, who's struggling in the Ferrari, and Sainz, who out-qualified both of them. So I think Gasly probably could have done better in qualifying, to be honest. But again, he made it through to Q3. And I think in the race was where we're going to see how he would do. He went for the move on Yuki. And ultimately, I think that's completely Yuki's fault. Or put it this way, there's no blame on Gasly at all. You could argue it's probably not the smartest move to do when, you know, you're not really fighting a Red Bull. But I don't think Gasly did anything wrong. So for me, I'm not going to rate Gasly. I think if I was to rate his qualifying, I'd probably give him an 8 for making qualifying. But yeah, considering we only saw one lap of the race and it wasn't his fault, I'm giving him an inconclusive. But what do you guys rate him? What do you guys think? Again, after you vote on the poll, type in chat why you voted for that. I'd love to discuss it all. Benjamin, thank you for the follow. X the Clerk, Wow Ferrick, one of the stream guys, 5 for me, only for qualifying, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. Are you guys giving him a 5 just because it's hard, you can't really rate him, or are you giving him a 5 because you think his qualifying wasn't that good? Gasly and Yuki inconclusive for me. Can't wait to see people rating other people lower than someone who DNF'd. Yuki's fault. No one makes moves there. I disagree. Liam tried a Gasly, but knew that the move wasn't on, so we just went off track. I think underperformed for the quali. And okay. Brake late, kept the car within the white lines and gave as much space as he could. Unfortunate. Yeah, Liam tried the same as Gasly, but gone off track because he knew it wasn't the move wasn't there. Okay, so you think that Gasly should have done what Liam did and backed out. See, I think the opposite. I think the driver on the inside just shouldn't twat into the side of the car on the outside personally. I get it's unfortunate, but yeah, we spoke about it earlier during the Grand Prix review. I think first lap excuse, just doesn't work for me. If that was lap 20, would you still blame Gasly? No, I think Yuki's just gotten away with it because it's the first lap. Anyways, we're in the poll there for Gasly because there's not really much more to talk about. Majority of you guys saying a rating of 6. So let's move on to the next driver, which is the other driver in the collision, Yuki Tsunoda. What do you rate Yuki Tsunoda's Saudi Arabia Grand Prix weekend? Get your vote in on the poll. So, unlike Gasly, I am actually going to give Yuki a rating because I think he's at fault for the incident. First off, talk about qualifying though. Fuck me, Lady Gaga, you're loud. Let me turn you down. There you go. Yuki, in qualifying, he qualified P8. He was 1 second off of Max Verstappen in Q3, which is disappointing. He got out-qualified by Lewis Hamilton, who I think, again, was struggling in the Ferrari, and he got out-qualified by Carlos Sainz and Kimi Antonelli, who's obviously a rookie in the Mercedes. So, you know, again, not being biased to the Red Bull situation, we're looking solid at the performance. We did this for Liam, we did this for Checo, and we're going to be doing it for Yuki as well. Looking solely at the performance, that's not a great qualifying, but he has made it through to Q3, which is, you know, he's not going out in Q1, he's not going out in Q2, but still, going out qualifying qualifying P8, only beating Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris, who crashed, and being 1 second off isn't amazing. But it's not like a terrible qualifying. I mean, look, again, if you take names away and you hear a driver's been out qualified by the teammate by 1 second, that's bad. That's bad. But at least you make Q3, right? At least you make Q3. Then in the race, again, we spoke about it. I do think it's Yuki's fault. I think, yes, it's lap 1, but knowing it's lap 1 and how careful you have to be, I think he's carried too much speed in that corner. He's clearly seen Gasly on his outside. We obviously watched the incident earlier today. Gasly was not just alongside, but ahead. He left room for Gasly, so he knew he was there, but he still carried too much speed in the corner, drifted out wide, hit Gasly, and caused his own race to be done. So for me, unfortunately, Yuki, I am going to have to give you a rating because it was your fault. And I'm going to give him a... Honestly, it has to be low. It has to be low. We'll give him 1.5. We'll give him 0.5 for making Q3, but... Because obviously that Red Bull isn't... like, I mean, yeah, Max got pole, but it's still hard to drive Red Bull. But... yeah, at the end of the day, 1 second off your teammate in qualifying and cause a collision in the race. So, almost as bad as it can get. Again, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not sitting here and, unlike you guys who fucking went in on Liam, I'm not sitting here and going, Yuki fucking sucks, get him out the Red Bull, get Hadja in. Like, we're not at that, right? Like, Japan, he was off the pace because it was his first weekend. Bahrain, what even happened in Bahrain? I can't remember. And Saudi, it's honestly just unlucky, right? Like he's had a poor performance. Sorry, he had a poor qualifying, and it happens. It happens in the race. So yeah. Wow, Liam's saying, "Hey, you can get in the seat." So do you think this is as bad as the weekend as Liam in China? Well, the thing is though, Liam didn't crash in China. Remember what I said when Yuki before Yuki got the seat and after you and after Yuki got the seat before Yuki did any races was, I don't want to see Yuki crashing because I think at least Liam kept on the track. Liam never crashed. Well, obviously he crashed in Australia because he's on fucking dry tires in the wet. That's different. So yeah, I do think Liam in in China, he had worse qualifyings. Well, that's the thing though. That's the thing. In China, Liam was 1 second off of Max. And in Saudi, Yuki's 1 second off of Max. The difference is, the car is better in Saudi than it was in China. But at the end of the day, Liam didn't crash in China and he made up position. Why are we talking about China? No, stop. We're talking about fucking Saudi Arabia. Anyways, I'm going at 1.5. What do you guys think though? Did you have tires left after Lando's crash? Did Yuki have tires left to go for that? If he went out early to do a fresh lap run, then that's unfortunate. But he still would have had tires, you know, because Lando obviously crashed so early. Yuki was in front. He tried to steer as much as he could. It's basically the same, but Red Bull have got their car right. Exactly. You got to look at the gap, and the gap's still the same. It's still a second. Yuki is 100% doing better than Liam. If that, like, I'm not denying he's doing better than Liam, but yeah. I do think Liam had a better weekend in China because he didn't crash. And he actually made up moves in the race. Yuki crashed and didn't make up moves in the race. Glazing Liam, throwing dirt on Yuki. Classic. Yep, I'm too fat to kidnap, lol. Yep. The car is getting better. You can tell from where Max qualifies first. Yeah, I mean, the car is getting better, or maybe the car just suits these tracks more. It's definitely in a better position than it was in China. And obviously, Australia was hard to tell because of the conditions. So, yeah. Anyways, we're in the poll there. Majority of you guys saying a rating of 3. Okay. 3 for taking a driver out and qualifying poorly. Fair enough. Well, I don't think I'll ever agree with a Yuki Tsunoda or Kimi Antonelli rating from you guys, but yeah, that's the trend around here. And you guys won't agree with me either, so it is what it is. All right, moving on. Next up, we have got last of the people who actually finished the race, Gabby Bortoleto. Poll is up in chat. Vote what you think, how you think Bortoleto did. So Bortoleto qualified dead last. He got out qualified by his teammate by 0.7. He made a mistake on his final run, which meant he qualified in dead last. Again, I say this every time with Sauber. We've said this 3 years now, rating Sauber and driver ratings. It's so hard to rate Sauber when their car is just poo. But I do think Sauber had the potential to make Q2 this weekend. They're only 2/10 off the cutoff, and Hulkenberg's updates the Sauber updates looked decent. Again, not enough to be making Q3 and comfortably Q2, but I think it was possible, especially with the disappointing lap from Behrman and Hadjar and Alonso and Liam. I definitely think they could have made a Q2, but they didn't. So, yeah, but then again, he shouldn't be making a mistake, and Hulkenberg outqualified him by 0.7. So it's not great from Gabby. And then in the race, Gabby finished in dead last. Trying to remember what actually happened to Gabby in the race, because I remember, I think, was he one of the drivers that started on the hards, or one of the drivers that went long? Let me have a quick look. So he's last off the start. Didn't make up any positions. Yeah, so he started on the hard, he went long. He held up Liam for a bit. He was ahead of Hulkenberg, then they had to swap positions, and then Doohan got him. Did Doohan get him at the end? Wow, Doohan got him on the last lap. We didn't even see that on the broadcast. Oh my god, Doohan got him on the line. Doohan got Bortoleto on the line. We didn't even see it. Yeah. I don't really know what more to say about Bortoleto. Just, yeah. How far did he finish behind his teammate? Oh my god, and he's finished 14 seconds behind his teammate. I mean, obviously different strategies, but still not amazing from Bortoleto. Look, at the end of the day, kept on the track, didn't crash and qualify. Didn't crash. You know, obviously, it's obvious that the car's not great because Hulkenberg didn't finish too far up the road. But I think he probably should have been beating Doohan, and I think he probably should have qualified better. So I'm going to give him a 2.5. Usually I give drivers a 3. If you have a bad weekend, but you don't crash or make a mistake, you're just like slow, you get a 3. But he made that mistake in qualifying, so I'm going to say 2.5. With fresh tires, 2 stops for Doohan. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong for Gabby pretty much. What went wrong for him? 3 for me. Didn't crash as a rookie around a track like these. Again, no rookie bias, but yeah. Missed FP2 to no fault of his own. True, I forgot about that. He didn't have FP2 to go off of. Mid overall, nothing spectacular. Saudi requires confidence and bravery in the car. Yeah, exactly. Sup, Joe the GOAT on the stream. Actually, no, I changed it to a 1. That Alonso attempted to kill takes away 1 point. I forgot about that. Jones giving Bortoleto a 10. Okay. He had a fuel leak. What is this? What is this from Poochhead? Is this gonna waste my time? What is this? Go away. I don't even know what that is. Icelandic Acro Team. What's up, dude? We're on the stream. Oh. Mispractice, messed it up in quality, couldn't recover in the race, nearly lost his manager. Dude, imagine. Alright, we're at the ball there. Majority of you guys saying 2 as well. Okay. Let's move on to the next driver. It's always hard to rate the drivers at the back of the grid who don't necessarily do bad, but just not much to really say about them. Next up, we've got Jack Doohan. Vote on the poll what you rate Jack Doohan's weekend. Yeah, Jack Doohan was disappointing, man. Jack Doohan was disappointing. Got out-qualified by 3/10 by his teammate, which doesn't sound bad, but again, Gazzy made Q3. Jack went out in Q1. He got out-qualified by Stroll, Behrman, Hadja, Alonso, Liam, Albon, all in arguably slower cars. And then in the race, he finished second last and only just beat Bortoletto on the final lap. Who knows? Maybe the Alpine was absolutely poo-poo. We will never know because Gasly got taken out of the race. But he didn't even do anything in the race. He didn't even he didn't show any sort of overtake. He didn't show any signs of kind of like moving up the field. The people behind him, the only time he ever raced anyone was when people were overtaking him because he was on a different strategy. He was very, very poor. So, again, I did say you get a 3 if you do bad and don't make any mistakes. But even though he didn't make any mistakes and didn't crash, he was unbelievably nowhere near his teammate. I think relative to where the car was. So I'm gonna give him a 2.5 as well. I mean, maybe an argument to give him just a straight 2, but yeah. Worst rookie by far in 2025. Ocon overtook him on the same strategy. Yeah, Alpine strat was dead, but yeah, not great either. 2 bad quality, no time management, slow, just bad. Yeah, he even admitted it. He admitted it was a bad weekend for him. Jonah Cortez, Sarah Kulev, thank you guys for the follows. Technically lost 2 positions in the race, counting the DNFs. Yeah, true. Lost 2 positions in the race from the DNFs. He lost to... Who did he lose to? Hulk and Ocon. Yeah, no, you're right. Lost 2 positions in a car way quicker than those cars. Honestly, might have to be a straight 2. For me, it's a 2. Really, really disappointing weekend. Out in Q1 when his teammate, again, hard to compare to Gasly. But where his pace can expect to be, it would be around the top 10. But didn't crash, so that's something. Yeah, he's going to be lucky to keep this drive beyond Barcelona. Well, I thought the contract was until Miami, so maybe we'll see some rumors and stuff coming out. But I don't think anything really brewed in the paddock this weekend, so... He'll at least be safe until the next triple header, I think. Then they're going to make the decision. Anyways, we're in the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 2 as well. All right. Next up, we have got Lance Stroll. All right, what do you guys rate Lance Stroll's weekend? 1 to 10. On the poll. Okay, so Lance in qualified P16. He got out qualified by 1/10 by his teammate, which isn't bad. But again, he's gone out in Q1. Alonso's made it through to Q2. He's at least out qualified Jack, Hulkenberg, Ocon, and Bortoletto, but he has been out qualified by Behrman. I mean, to be fair, I do think Haas might have a better car than Aston Martin at the moment. So, yeah, I think Stroll's probably qualified where he should be. It's just 1/10 off your teammate isn't amazing, but it's not bad. And then in the race, he's moved up the grid. No, has he? No, he's stayed put. So who's he lost to? He's finished behind Hulkenberg and Ocon. Yeah, okay, so he's finished behind Hulkenberg and Ocon. And he's finished 8, 10, 16, 17, 20. He's finished 20 seconds behind his teammate. Oh, I saw you guys flowing in with the 2s and stuff, and I was like, wow, that's harsh, but no, yeah. 20 seconds off your teammate in the race. Losing 2 positions, technically, if relative to the 2 DNFs. Going out in Q1. Yeah, didn't make a mistake, didn't crash, so, similar to the other 2, but I think a bit weaker. Honestly, I'm going to have to be fair to Stroll. I think he had better race pace than Doohan, and better race pace than Bortoletto, and better qualifying close in relative to his teammate than them 2. So I'm going to give him a 3. I think 3 is... You were bad, but you didn't crash and make mistakes, and you were at least somewhat close to your teammate. So, yeah, I know 20 seconds in a race doesn't sound like, it sounds pretty bad, which it is, but with all the traffic and stuff like that, it's not terrible. It's not a great weekend from Stroll, but I'm not going to go lower than the 3 personally. Yeah, 2, same as Doohan, but with 8 years of F1. Yeah, another disappointing weekend again. Pace not there. Could have got out of Q1. Yeah, I mean, relative to what Stroll should be doing, it's a 1. But, obviously, at the same time, he did do better than Bortoletto and Doohan, let's be real. Well, stop giving him a 10, bro. Stop giving him a 10. It's a 4 for me. Kind of qualified where you expected. Lost to Ocon and Hulk, which is disappointing. Way off Alonso, but I actually think Alonso did really well and maximized. Yeah, true. I'm gonna say 3 though. I agree with what you said, but I'm gonna say 3. All right, end the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 3. All right, we're agreeing so far. We're agreeing. Yay! Yay! All right. Next up, we have got Nico Hulkenberg. All right, get your votes into the poll. Guys, if you're just tuning in to the TikTok or YouTube stream, come over to Twitch. That is where you can vote in chat on the poll. All you have to do is type in Twitch chat the number that you want to rate the driver. So 1 to 10 is all you want to do. Bro, what? He broke a record. He deserves an 8. True. Stroll does deserve an 8 for breaking a record. Marie, thank you for the follow on the stream. Oh, my back, bro. My back is killing me. All right. Nico Hulkenberg. Let's talk about it. So, Hulkenberg, in qualifying, went out Q1. He out-qualified his teammate by 7 tenths. Again, I said it before, I do think the Sauber may have been able to make Q2 with the disappointing laps of the drivers ahead of him and the update that Sauber had, but relative to where both Saubers are, maybe that wasn't the case. Still, he out-qualified Ocon, he out-qualified his teammate by 7 tenths. Nothing crazy, but not bad. We'll say average or maybe even slightly above average, I don't know. And then in the race, he managed to move up 2 positions, one on Lance Stroll and one on Jack Doohan, but he's also lost a position on Esteban Ocon. So, yeah, I think Hulkenberg's done well. It's a shame he lost the position to Ocon, but let's be real, the Haas is better than the Sauber. He's made up 2 positions. He's finished. What did I say? Wait, you know how I said Stroll finished 20 seconds behind his teammate before? That was before the race was over. He actually finished 7, 20, 23. He actually finished 23. So that's even worse, right? Anyways, 13. Yeah, so Hulkenberg's finished 14 seconds ahead of his teammate. He's made up 2 positions in the race. He's lost a position to Ocon, though. But, yeah, I think Hulkenberg's done pretty good for what the Sauber is. I'm going to say, relative to the Sauber, I think he's done above average. He's not made any mistakes either. I'm going to say a 6. Just above average weekend. Not good, not bad, just above average. So Laxo Paco, well on the stream, dude. Corks as well. Hello. He lost 3 places with 2 DNFs. He went from 15th to last. Wait, who you talking about, Patty? Wait, read that the wrong way around. Oh, I see. Triple quali and race underperformed like crazy. In my opinion, should be at least Q2. 6. Anonymous weekend. Good job to keep cars behind you. Exactly. Using a position to Ocon is harsh. Yeah, no, so do you mean harsh in the sense of like he shouldn't have lost it, or do you mean like it's not fair to say he lost a position when he probably should have finished ahead of shouldn't have lost it? Ocon should be beating him anyway. Stroll was lapped and Alonso wasn't. I see. Still, shouldn't get lapped. Laxo and Sabir Ahmed. Thank you for the follows, guys. Welcome to the stream. Sup, Jarius. It's a rating of 6 for me. Even though he was out in Q1, he out-qualified his teammate by a decent margin. Kind of maximized the result in the race with the cars at the moment. Just above average. The cars ahead of him, I see is faster. Yeah. All right. Poll done. Let's move on. Sorry, majority of you guys saying 6. Fuck me, I just sped through that poll. I'm sorry. Majority of you guys saying 6 on the poll. Moving on. Next driver we have got is Esteban Ocon. Okay, finally one that's a bit more interesting to talk about. Harsh in the sense of you shouldn't lose position to Ocon. Right, okay. Well, I do think Haas had a faster car. I mean, you votes in the poll. What do you rate Ocon's weekend? Oh, my back, bro. Why is my back so sore? One sec. I'm going to stretch. Oh. Do you just moan? Yeah, you usually moan when you stretch, Poochhead. God, this guy. Moan here. Moan now. Don't moan here. This guy, man. He's so inconsistent with his moans. What does he want from me? Ugh. Alright. Let's talk about Ocon. So Ocon. Ugh. So Ocon in qualifying, second last. Got out qualified by Bamman by 5/10. Ollie made it through to Q2, but Ocon didn't. And yeah, he already out qualified Bordelletto. Everyone else, he did not. And then in the race, he managed to move up 5 positions, 2 on DNF cars, but the other 3 on Hulkenberg, Stroll, and Doohan. But then again, he shouldn't be starting there. He shouldn't have been starting there in the first place. So those overtakes aren't even anything too crazy. And he's finished 20 seconds behind Ollie. Yeah, I think it's a disappointing weekend for Ocon. Nowhere near your teammate. And nowhere near your teammate in qualifying, nowhere near your teammate in the race. I'm sure some people will probably be like, yeah, but he made up positions. Yeah, but he shouldn't have been qualifying there. And yeah, but he finished right behind Bam and where he should have. Yeah, but he's still 20 seconds off. And we're rating the performance, not the result. And yeah, I think Ocon's had a bit of a stinker weekend. Again, no crash, no mistakes, but pretty poor. So I'm going to give him a 3, I think. I'm going to give him a 3. Ocon was the last car to be lapped, and because he was worrying about a puncture, he slowed down to snail's pace, so he really had to finish about 12 seconds behind. Okay. This weekend was below average, qualified bad, and was behind Bam. And again, Eddie, what's up, dude? Dude, why do you love the summer emote so much? Sub repurposer. Wait, let me change my music real quick. Better. Still so do you replace the pre-moan with music? It was always music. What do you mean, dude? Really disappointing qualifying from Ocon in the race. He beat them, I expect. Tried the strat by pitting during the safety car and hoping for a safety car or something. I rated Stroll 4, and I think Ocon did slightly worse. It's probably a 3.5 for me. Okay. Actually, sorry, I'm going to actually give Ocon a 3.5 because it is harsh for me to be like, give him the same rating as Stroll when Ocon actually finished where he should be. Like, yeah, it was disappointing performance, but he still finished where he should be. So I'm going to give it a 3.4. 3.5. Anyways, you guys are giving Ocon a 4. All right, we'll move on. Good. But now, now. People on YouTube right now wondering what the fuck I'm singing to. All right, next up, we have got his teammate, Ollie Birdman. All right, polls up for Ollie. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. What do you vote? What do you rate? Sorry, Ollie for Saudi Arabia. So Ollie in quali. Oh, that rhymes. Ollie in quali. He qualified P15. He out-qualified his teammate by 5/10, like we just said. I think the Haas is probably better than Aston Martin at this stage, so I'm a bit disappointed he got out-qualified by Alonso, and I think Hadja had a bit of a poor qualifying, so I think he should have out-qualified Hadja as well. But then again, it's not a bad quali. It's not a bad quali for Ollie. I just think it should have been better. But still, so far ahead of your teammate is good. And then in the race, he managed to move up 2 positions, obviously on the 2 retired cars. So he finished probably where he should in the race. Again, I do think the Haas is better than the Aston. So the fact he finished below Alonso is a bit disappointing. And I think also Liam, finishing behind Liam, who had a 10-second penalty, is also disappointing. Again, I think the VCarb's race pace was probably better. But yeah, a bit disappointed with Ollie there. So yeah, again, not a bad weekend. I just think it was probably, you know what, we'll say bum average. I think it was like above average. He didn't do anything wrong. He outclassed his teammate, but I don't think he did anything really like good either. So I'm gonna say a 5. Trying to think. Yeah, I'm going to say a 5. I was going to think if I should do a 5.5, but I think finishing that far down on Alonso and Liam is not great. So I'll say 5. I'll say dead on 5. You're doing an order of race? Yeah, reverse race finishing order. Decent weekend, but should be qualifying way higher. Struggled during first stint. Good pace went hard. So is Haas really faster than Aston? I think so. At least look at the recent weekends. And where Stroll is as well, for example. What I'd say 20 seconds ahead of team is worthy of a 5.5. Yeah, but then he's also not beaten Liam, who had a 10-second pen. I think that's pretty disappointing. Yeah. Anyways. I don't disagree with 5.5, but I'm gonna keep it as a 5. All right, we're in the poll there. Majority of you guys are saying 6. It was pretty split between 6 and 5 actually. So, yeah. Oh no. The person I hate every week. It's always an argument about this man. All right, what do you rate Liam Lawson's weekend? Get your votes in on the poll. Don't fucking give him a 1. That's stupid. What do we rate Liam Lawson's weekend? So Liam in qualifying, he outqualified Isaac Hadja, which is the first time I think he's done that. Yeah, no, his first time outqualifying Hadja since moving back to the team. I mean, it's only been 3 races, but still. He outqualified Hadja by 3/10, which I think is good. I think it's more Hadja did bad than Liam necessarily did good. Liam also outqualified Alonso. I think relative to where that V-carb was, that's the best Liam could have done. I think Albon's had a little bit of a disappointing lap, and Liam was only 90 milliseconds off Albon. But if it wasn't for that, other than that, I think he's qualified exactly where he should be. Behind the Williams, behind the Alpine. Yeah, I don't think the V-carb's as good as it was. Who knows? Maybe if Hadja actually did a good lap, we would have been like, oh, wow, Liam's lap wasn't good. But as far as I'm aware, the V-carb's not on Alpine and Williams' level, and it wasn't on their level in qualifying, and I think he's done the best he could. Again, good qualifying, nothing too great, but didn't do anything wrong either. And yeah, 3/10 ahead of his teammate. And then in the race is an interesting one because he lost. Did he lose the position off the start? I can't remember what happened, right? So he started P12. Sorry, he started P12, yeah. And then, yeah, so he didn't lose the position off the start. Hadja just gained off the start. So, yeah, Liam's not really done anything wrong. It's just Hadja's managed to get past him, which I guess you could say is quite disappointing. Wait. No. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, so Liam has lost positions off the start. He's lost to Hadja and Alonso. Yeah, he's lost 2 positions. Yeah, so he's had a poor start. I'd really love to see what Liam's onboard was. Liam's race start looked like. And then that kind of set up Liam's the rest of the race for Liam. You know, Hadja kind of got the better strategy. And he did really well with the strategy. No, sorry, I forgot they're on different strategies. So Liam was on the medium tire. Liam was on the medium tire, and now he's stuck behind his teammate on the hard tire. And he was stuck behind a slow Aston, and that kind of set up Liam's race for the rest of the race. Hadja could kind of drive a little bit in clean air with the hards, and Liam was stuck behind the Aston. So yeah, his kind of race kind of fell to bits really from the start. Hadja did an amazing stint, which we'll talk about soon. And then Liam was able to get past Alonso in the end, but his 10-second penalty, which is a load of shit, meant he finished behind Alonso. So at the end of the day, if we look at the race results, he only finished 1 second behind Hadja. So should that have happened? No, he shouldn't have let Hadja past him. It basically, or Alonso passed him, it basically fucked up his entire race start. His entire race. But at the end of the day, he's only finished 1 second off his teammate, who's finished in the points. I think he's done pretty good. The 10-second penalty is unfortunate because it put him behind Alonso, but I don't think that pen's his fault. You know, we spoke about it earlier. It's a mistake, absolutely, but I don't think it's his fault. So yeah, I think overall for Liam, good qualifying, good race pace. Just a mistake off the race start, which basically ruined his entire weekend. So I'm gonna say probably, I don't know. I was gonna say like 5 or 6, but I don't know. I don't want to rate too high, and then everyone gets mad at me. Okay, you guys are saying 5 or 6 anyway. Oh, thank God for that. All right, what do you guys saying about Liam? Send him back to Super Formula. Shut up, mate. What do we think of Liam Lawson? Okay, lost 2 positions in the race. Yeah, that wasn't great. Now, to be fair, maybe 6 is too high for someone who lost positions in the race. But then again, no, we'll go 5.5. A mistake that got him a pen. Even though it shouldn't have been a pen, it was a mistake that got him a pen. Lost to his teammate in race pace. And basically losing those positions off the start cost him. But again, I still think it was a a above average performance in the sense of his race pace and his qualifying pace. So we'll go 5.5. The Gazuyuki crash blocked Liam. Hadja was on the outside. Oh, is that what happened? Right. He was blocked by the Gazuyuki crash, I think. Okay. Best weekend so far for Liam this year. Yeah, which is still not great, man. That he's still getting unlucky with this shit. But yeah, at least the qualifying was good. At least the qualifying was good. Wise Splinter, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna probably go with 5.5. Maybe there's an argument for lower, maybe an argument for higher, but I'm gonna go with 5.5. All right, you guys are saying 6 on the poll. Maybe I'll up it to a 6 then. If you guys are saying 6, I'll say 6. All right, we're in the poll there. Moving on. Next up, we have got oh, yeah, sorry. I got confused. I forgot that he actually finished ahead of him because of the penalty. All right, next up, we have got Fernando Alonso. Poll is up. Bias is showing again. Hey, I just read exactly what the viewers voted, man. All right, polls up for Alonso. What do you rate Alonso's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix? Yeah, Alonso qualified in P13. He outqualified Isaac Hadja in a quicker car. He outqualified Behrman, what I believe is a quicker car. He outqualified Doohan and Ocon in what I believe is a quicker car. The only person he didn't outqualify was Liam. And again, I think the V-Cup is better. So I think he's qualified exactly where he should be. Or like better than where he should be relative to the people around him. And he's outqualified his teammate by 1/10, which again isn't amazing. But again, he managed to make it through to Q2. Stroll's gone out in Q1. Then in the race, he's hung out with the big boys for a while. He's only finished 10 seconds. Not even, sorry, he's finished 7 seconds behind Isaac Hadja. Again, Hadja in a V-carb and the Williams right in front of him. He's only finished 10 seconds off that best of the rest pack. So honestly, Alonso's race pace was amazing. He's managed to capitalize on Liam's penalty as well to finish P11 on the edge of points. And he's put himself in a position where if there was some chaos, I mean, I guess we did have Yuki and Gazzy retire, but if there was some chaos in the front, he would have gotten a point in that race. So yeah, I think he's done really, really good. I think this is what we need to see from Alonso to prevent people from saying he's washed, which is like, okay, the car's bad, but you're still doing the best you can in that car. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give Alonso, yeah, I'm probably going to give him a 7. Maybe there's an argument for him to be higher because, like, what more could have he done? He maximized qualifying in that car, and well, other than maybe out-qualifying Liam, he maximized qualifying in that car. And other than finishing right behind Hadja, yeah, I'm going to say 7.5. Maybe even higher, dude. Maybe even an 8. Because, like, what could have he done? Beat Liam in quali. Well, not 78. That's too kind. He could have beaten Liam in qualifying. That's it. And he was 10 seconds off of the best of the rest, who he shouldn't be fighting. If he had a beaten Hadja, then that would have been a 10. And, like, yeah, he finished behind Liam, but he only beat Liam because of the pen. I'm going to say 8, to be honest. I'm going to say an 8. I don't really see what more he could have really done. Awesome weekend. Best you could do with the car. Even Liam out-qualified him. Ooh. Beating both Haas cars on that tractor and nearly getting the points. An incredible weekend. Outdrove the car. Easily worthy an 8. Yeah, I'm going to say 8 as well then. I'm going to say 8 as well. Did he wink at the camera? Did I wink at the camera? He's an attractor, to be honest. Yeah. 8 is crazy. What would you rate him then, Mark Garcia? What have you rated him? You haven't even rated him. I voted 9. I think you guys are really harsh. Yeah, honestly, I think lower than 8 is harsh because there's not much he could have really done. I think you got to remember, like, he's in a bad car, and I think he's done the best he could. I'd say below 8 is crazy. Yeah. You give him a 7 or 7.5. All right. Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where, you know, it's hard to probably say a driver gets a better rating when they're in a poo car. I honestly think there's an argument to even give him a higher than an 8. Like, what could have he done, really? Maybe just being closer to the pack in front. That's about it. Yeah. I actually might even up it to an 8.5. Is that crazy? Like, the more I think about this, he only could have out-qualified Liam. And he only could have out-qualified... he only... maybe been closer to the guys in the race. He's finished 24 seconds ahead of Lance Stroll. Yeah, I would say 8.5. I think it's otherwise we're looking way too much at the result and not the performance, which is what these ratings are all about. Yeah, I got 8.5 for Alonso, and I'm sticking to that. I'm happy with that. All right, majority of you guys saying 7 for Alonso. All right, next up we have got Isaac Hajar. All right, vote in the poll for Isaac. What do you vote Isaac's Saudi weekend? Now, Isaac's an interesting one because obviously he had a disappointing qualifying. He got out-qualified 3/10 by Liam, and he got out-qualified by Fernando Alonso. But again, thankfully, he made it through to Q2 and still put himself in a good position in the race. Then race start, he made up 4 positions off the race start. He got past Alonso, Liam, and then obviously the 2 drivers who retired. Now, this kind of fucked over Liam. I'm not blaming Hadja for it, obviously, but this kind of fucked over Liam, but it put Hadja in an amazing spot. Basically, like, clean air, you know, past Alonso and past Liam, clean air on these hard tires, because at this point, Williams were way up the road. Did an extra long stint. The whole watch along, I was sitting there going, oh, VCarb have fucked him. They've left him out too long. But his pace on those tires was so good. And then he came out in front of Liam and Alonso and closed the gap on Williams. It's really unfortunate that the Williams were teammates because they didn't race each other. They just hung on to an 8th and a 9th. And there's nothing Hadja could have done. Maybe you could argue he could have, like, tried closing the gap and done something. But when there's a DRS, it's so fucking hard. So, yeah, honestly, I think Hadja's an amazing race and race pace. I think he needs to clean up the qualifying pace. So, I'm going to say, somewhere around the 8, but let me have a proper think. Did he have a better or worse weekend than Alonso? I mean, Alonso out-qualified him, so that's, yeah. And then he beat Alonso by only 10 seconds in a quicker car. I guess that's more testament to Alonso's. Yeah, I'm going to say 8. I'm going to say 8. I think he should have qualified better. Put it this way. With the pace that Hadja had and the strategy that he had, if he had a qualified better, he might have been able to go for an attack on the Williams at the start of the race. On L1 at the start of the race. And maybe could have finished higher. Yeah. Maybe he should be higher than an 8. Maybe he should be an 8.5 as well. I guess the argument is he could have finished in front of the Williams. He had the pace to finish in front of the Williams, but it's just a tricky one because it's not really his fault that the Williams were doing what they were doing, you know? If Alonso's 8.5, then Hadja is 9.5 in your opinion. You also have to vote for quali, not just the race. Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe it is an 8 based off quali because we are doing the performance. Half the grid for 3 hours. That's good. Well, we've not just been doing just drive ratings, Blue. We've been doing a whole review, bro. Below par quali, but great start and insane start in the hards. Without that Williams team play, he'd have got an 8th, so it should be an 8.5 or a 9. Alonso maximized more of the car available, lower for me. How could he overtake the Williams? The point for VCarb is already an achievement. No, 100%, but if his qualifying was better, I think he could have beat the Williams. So that's where I'm kind of knocking Hadja down a little bit. Giving a 9 for Hadja's weekend is insane. That would mean he drove an almost perfect weekend. I mean, some would argue he almost drove a perfect weekend. So yeah, but I agree. I think the qualifying is what let him down. So yeah, I'm gonna say 8. All right, majority of you guys saying 8 as well. We'll move on to. Oh, we're already into the top 10. All right, continuing on the top 10 in 9th. We have got Alex Albon. What do you rate Alex Albon? Poll is up. Guys, if you're just tuning in the stream, welcome in. We're doing driver ratings. If you're over on TikTok or YouTube right now, come over to Twitch. Come into the Twitch chat and vote on the poll. And yeah, discuss with us all the ratings. I thought it was crazy predicting Aston Martin to finish 8th constructors. Now I wonder if they'll even manage that. Yeah, honestly, it's all about just how many points you can scrape, I think. All right, Alex Albon. Alex, in qualified P11. I think it was a bit of a poor qualifying from Albon, if I'm being completely honest. He got out-qualified by his teammate by 1/10, which isn't bad. But Carlos ended up getting P6, and he was out in Q2. He got out-qualified by Pierre Gasly in a similar car. I guess at the end of the day, there was only 2 slots to make it through into Q3. if ignoring the big boys, the big teams. And one of them was Gasly, and one of them was his teammate. So it's not a bad qualifying from Albon. It just could have been better. So yeah, he had to make up for it in the race, and so he did. Obviously, 2 retirements allowed for him to finish ahead of Tsunoda and Gasly, but he worked well with his teammate. Maybe there's an argument he had better pace than his teammate, but had to kind of hang behind. Actually, no, he didn't have better pace than his teammate because Sainz was told to slow down to help Albon, to defend. So, yeah, I do think Sainz was the quicker teammate in both qualifying and the race, but Albon's had a good result and done exactly what he needs to in that Williams to have got him points. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, what an insane weekend for Albon. So I'm probably going to give him like a 7. A very solid 7. Maybe a 7.5? What do you guys think? James, thank you for the follow on the stream. Where's the poll? Yeah, you just type in chat. You just type in chat the number, and then this reads numbers that are typed in chat or whatever I put on the poll. So yeah, you just type in the Twitch chat. Williams left him to do his last run Foreman's before the end of Q2. Wait, how is Foreman's before the end of Q2 a bad thing? Albon was lucky he had help from Sainz. Hadji would have got him yet. True, good point. Yeah. Hadji definitely had better race pace than probably both of them, to be honest. At least Albon. Below par quality, but great start and an insane stint on the hards. Without the Williams team... Wait, sorry. Why am I reading out Hadji one right now? Williams left him to do his last run. Wait, I read that. What the fuck? Sup, Reaper Mika. You should retire the decimals. Just... like we can't vote for 7.5. Well, I'm doing the 0.5s. You guys can still vote on your... I can't add 0.5s to that. Oh, I like having the 0.5s to just kind of different, kind of rake a driver higher. So rather than having like 5 drivers on 7, you can have a couple on 7.5s, or you know what I mean. I like that. I like having the extra range. All right, we're in the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 7 as well. Wow, we're really agreeing with everyone here. We've agreed with everyone but Yuki. Still one of the 3 culprits. We haven't got to Kimi Antonelli yet. Oh, we haven't got to Kimi yet. Kimi, it's always Kimi, Yuki, Liam, and Hadja, isn't it? All right. Next up, we have got the man, the myth, the legend, Carlos Sainz. What do you vote? What do you rate Carlos Sainz this weekend? Get your vote in on the poll. All right, Carlos qualified P6. Fucking awesome stuff. He outqualified Lewis, Yuki, obviously Gasly, who's in an equal paced Alpine, and his teammate. Again, he only outqualified his teammate by 1/10, but that allowed him to get into Q3 and make it into P6. Then in the race, now. Prior to this weekend, prior to the race, he said, I fucked up in Bahrain. I battled the guys around me too hard, and I end up losing out. This weekend, he didn't battle Lewis. He didn't battle, well, he didn't need to battle Yuki, thankfully, but he didn't battle Lewis. He kind of let Lewis through, and that allowed him to stay ahead of Hadja with the overcut, and then he helped his boy Albon, and yeah, honestly, he had a fucking amazing weekend. I don't think there's anything Sainz could have done. It's a bit of a shame that Gasly and Yuki weren't in the race, because there's a world where Gasly and Yuki are in the race and we end up rating Sainz a 10. There's a world where Sainz finishes P8, but he beats Yuki and Gasly to that. So I do think it's a bit of a shame that we didn't actually get to see that. But then again, we can't really like just not rate Sainz high or the highest possible just because those two weren't in the race. At the end of the day, he's done everything he fucking could. I'm honestly wanting to give him, like, am I wrong in thinking a 9.5? Like, he's over maximized qualifying. He's helped his teammate in the race, and they've gotten the best points they can. I guess the argument could be like he didn't absolutely dick his teammate, but they're both good drivers. So we're not going to see a world where Sainz is dicking down Albon by 5/10. Yeah, I think a 9.5. I think the only way it could have been more perfect is by the 2 people retiring being in the race and actually showing that, okay, he was 100% the best driver. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect race when he was gifted a P8 with 2 retirements, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Outqualifying Lewis and Yuki makes it a 9 at the least, and helping L1 is another 9.5. Yeah, should have had voted 9. It's a 25-second gap, but he actually had more pace in it. Well, yeah, he had to slow down. Who knows how close he could have finished to Lewis, but Yeah. Easy the best weekend for the year. Amazing quality and race. Nothing else could have done. Strong weekend. 9 correction. 9 maximize the car. Best of the rest. Sign season started in Saudi. Facts. All right. Yeah, we're mostly all agree. All right, we're in the poll there. Majority of you guys saying 9 as well. A few people voting 8. A couple people voting 10. Okay. Next up, we have got Lulu Hamilton. All right, polls up for Lewis. What do you rate Lewis this weekend? Yeah, started 7th, finished 7th. Wait, did Gazzy and Yuki finish behind him? Qualified behind him? Yeah, so he wasn't affected by the DNFs. Boys, I am starving. My stomach's going crazy. I'm gonna go buy. Wait, I'm gonna go grab a truck. I'm gonna go grab a cream egg to fulfill my stomach. Get your votes into Lewis. I couldn't find a cream egg, so I've got a what the fuck? I've got a what's this called? Street waffle. Street waffles are so good, man. Oh. Mmm. Let me finish this real quick. Well, yeah, you can only rate qualifying, Gasly for qualifying, and he did a better qualifying than Lewis. Who did, man? Shut up. Shut up. I moaned for you, and now you don't want the moans? Saturday. Alright, let's go back to the ratings for the last 7 drivers. Bro, this chair, man. There we go. Alright. So, Lewis, in qualifying, he qualified P7, 6/10 down on his teammate, which is quite disappointing. He got out-qualified by Carlos Sainz and Kimi Antonelli, who didn't have a good qualifying either. And Yuki Tsunoda was right on his ass. Thankfully, out-qualified Gasly, though. But yeah, not a great qualifying from Lewis. He's still really struggling in quali. And then in the race, it was no better. He's finished 31 seconds behind his teammate. He finished behind Antonelli and Russell, who were clearly in a slower car. Russell finishing 20 seconds behind Leclerc, and Lewis still finished behind both of them. Honestly, I would love to have seen Carlos's pace on those Williams. I would have loved to have seen Carlos's pace on those tires if he didn't slow down to help Albon, because how close could his Sainz got to Lewis? He wouldn't beat Lewis, but I would love to have seen how close he would have gotten. So yeah, overall, very weak in comparison to his teammate. Very weak result relative to where he should have been. His teammate finished on the podium, and he's finished in P7. It's just poor for Lewis, man. It's just another poor weekend for Lewis. I'm gonna give him a 4, I think. I'm gonna give him a 4. Oh, that's a 5. I'm gonna give him a 4. It's below average. If 5 is average, it's a below average weekend. At the end of the day, he kept it clean. But it's funny though, right? Because like again, if you take the name away, if you take the Lewis Hamilton and the Ferrari away, driver gets out qualified by their teammate by 6 tenths and finishes 31 seconds behind their teammate and loses to 2 drivers in a car that's quicker. Like that doesn't sound like a 4. That sounds like a lower than a 4. Maybe you can get 0.5 for maybe an extra point for dummying Lando, but yeah, it was poor from Lewis, man. It was really poor. Way slower than Charles equals below average. Perhaps an extra 0.5 because how he raced Norris. At least give him a 4.4. Yeah, ultimately helped Leclerc. Could argue a 3 as well, but his battle with Lando helped Charles get P3. But I don't think that was intentional, though, you know what I mean? Lewis was off Charles's pace, but he gave us some action with his defense against Lando. Some people voting him lower than Gasly. Gasly did 3 corners. Yeah, but it's not Gasly's fault he's out of the race, so you can only rate his qualifying. That's why I gave him an inconclusive. But yeah, Gasly did do better than Lewis Hamilton this weekend because Gasly had a better qualifying. Crazy that Williams are the best of the rest in team standings right now. Well, the second Red Bull seat gets biased when it comes to ratings, though. Well, I agree. That's why I gave Yuki a 1.5. That's why I gave Yuki a 1.5 because I think it doesn't matter if it's a Red Bull seat, you're still way off your teammate. Vortex, what's up, dude? One was rip. Someone that didn't do a race did better than someone who did the whole race. Blake, I don't think you're understanding, Infratic. You're rating their performance, and you can't rate Gasly's performance if he didn't do the race. And it's not his fault that he didn't do the race. So you rate his performance from qualifying. And I gave him an inconclusive. Fabio, question mark. I gave it inconclusive because you can't give a rating. But the reason why people in chat gave Gasly a better rating than Lewis is because he did do better than Lewis. He finished P9, only 1/10 off Lewis in a slower car in qualifying. And Gasly dicked his teammate, whereas Lewis got dicked by his teammate. So yeah, anyways, that's what I gotta say about Lewis. It wasn't Gasly's fault he got taken out. How did Yuki get rated? I gave him 1.5, but I think everyone else gave him like a 3 or 4, which is like standard for the Red Bull second seat. Anyways, that's it for Lewis. For me, majority of you guys saying a 4. Wait, what did Fabio give him? What did Fabio give him? You gave him a 6. Do you think he had an above average weekend? Nah. There's no way he had an above average weekend. Ain't no way, boy. Mate, Lewis was hard this weekend. Anthony was split, I think. Yeah, I think Anthony's going to be the most split. Fighting Lando was intentional. Antonelli let Lando pass. Was it intentional? I don't know if they hoped they could slow him down by the time he got to Leclerc, but in the end it helped. The only thing that was good was that he didn't bin it. True. Yeah, he didn't make any mistakes. He's just really struggling that car right now. Song of melody. Bang a tune. Hey man, I've seen y'all rating the second Red Bull seat. At the end of the day, he's still finishing the points. I gave Yuki a 1.5, and I gave Liam 2s and 3s, bro. All right, we're moving on. But I'm assuming you're talking to chat though. You're talking to chat. You gotta remember the chat can't vote inconclusive. They probably would have gave guys the inconclusive as well. All right, moving on. What I think will be a controversial one. Let's see. We've got Kimi Antonelli. What do you rate Kimi Antonelli's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend? So Kimi in qualifying, he got out qualified by his teammate by 4/10, which, excuse me. You know, I've been strict or harsh on everyone so far with qualifyings, and I think the same thing with Kimi. 4/10 off his teammate. Yeah, it's only 2 positions lower, but it's still 4/10 slower. Again, I have to say this every week because people can't understand this. If I was rating based off of him being a rookie, he would have a great rating, 100%. But we're rating their performance. You're taking their name away. You're taking their experience away. You're just rating solely their performance. And, you know, Kimi's 4/10 down on his teammate. He's lucky that Sainz wasn't able to get close enough in a Williams. Lewis absolutely struggled on a Ferrari. And Yuki struggled in a Red Bull. And Lando binned it. Otherwise, you know, like, yeah, He's doing well, but it's still 4 tenths off his teammate. And then in the race, he's finished, to be fair, only 7 seconds behind Russell. And he's, managed to stay ahead of Lewis in a much quicker car. But I think while some people might sit here and be like, oh my God, Antonelli, you're so fucking good, bro. I think it was just a good weekend. It was good. Like, it was like he's done his job in that Mercedes. I think he should have outqualified Charles, but he finished where he should be. So 7? 6.5? 7? Maybe 6.5 because of quality. Yeah, maybe, 6.5 for qualifying and not being better than his teammate. Yeah. Or maybe even, but then now I'm even contradicting myself because, like, he was 4 tenths slower than his teammate and he's still 10 seconds slower than his teammate. Russell had massive problems in the end. It shouldn't have been that close. Oh, really? Why happened to Russell at the end? I think he managed his tires well. Managed his tires well when you see what happened to George. I don't even see what happened to George. I think it's 6.5 because the Merc didn't look to have pace at all. Kimmy had a good weekend. Definitely better than Hamilton. As a certified non-Lewis fan, he's not washed. He's just not feeling the car. Oh, no, I'm not. Me giving Lewis a low rating doesn't mean I think he's shit. Anyone who thinks drivers are shit because they aren't in form or like make a mistake or something, it's just like, yeah, it's crazy. It's so sad seeing Hamilton struggle on the Ferrari. Yeah, I think it just goes to show, man. It wasn't the Merc, it was just the regs. George dropped totally, finished 23 seconds behind Norris. Oh, wow. Oh, well, yeah, I know that, but I thought it was just the Merc falling off. I think Russell had a problem with his front left towards the end. Right, okay. Yeah, maybe he was just like, fuck it, my teammate's behind me, I'll just drop back. Yeah, I think I'm going to give Antonelli a 6. It's above average. It's just a standard weekend, right? He got the result he needed. He did better than Hamilton, but he's still slower than his teammate, and he needs to tidy up that qualifying performance. But still, not bad, not bad. All right, majority of you guys saying 6. Oh, fuck. A few people saying 7. Okay. Yeah, still. I still think 7s and 8s for Antonelli is crazy, but because if you said to any other, like even Stroll was closer to his teammate than Antonelli was. And Stroll gets a 3, but Antonelli gets a 6. You know what I mean? So, sorry, gets an 8. Like, it doesn't make sense. All right. Next up, we move on to the top 5 now. Next up, we have got G-Russ. Maybe G-Russ's worst weekend of the year, but then again, did he really do anything wrong? I don't know. Anyways, get your votes in on the poll. If you're just tuning in Twitch chat, all you have to do is type in the number that you want to vote on the poll. If you're watching on TikTok or YouTube, come over to Twitch, join us in voting on the poll. All right, G-Russ, let's have a look. So, in qualifying, he qualified P3. He's outqualified his teammate by 4 tenths. He's outqualified Leclerc, who we end up finding out had the better car, at least in race pace, but still. Only 1 tenth off of Oscar Piastri. 1 tenth off a pole position. I think that's an amazing lap from Russell. I think for that, he said himself, though, he had probably more time in that Merc, so it's not the perfect qualifying, but yeah, amazing qualifying from Russell. And then in the race, I think he hung on for as long as he could, but unfortunately, he has had to drop 2 positions. 1 to Lando, who's in a better car, obviously, and 1 to Leclerc, who I think we found out had a better car as well. I think maybe Russell could have done a better job of managing his tires. Maybe there's a world he could have finished ahead of Charles and Lando, but honestly, I don't think there is. Yeah, I think he did well throughout the race. He's outpaced his teammate, outqualified his teammate. But yeah, I feel like you probably can't give Russell better than like a 7. Like, it was a good weekend for him, but he didn't do anything too crazy, maybe other than qualifying. In the race, he probably could have done a better job of managing. Maybe I'll say 7.5. Like, I think he's put the car exactly where it should be in qualifying. And he's put the car exactly probably where it should be in the race after seeing where the race pace was. So I would say 7.5. I don't know. Maybe we're doing an Alonso here and rating him too low because of where the car was. But still, yeah. Jules, shut up. We'll get to Piastri soon. Qualifying was incredible, but didn't manage his tires properly in the race. Yeah, Merc probably have the 2022 Ferrari, amazing 1 lap pace, but struggling a bit in the race pace. Yeah, really struggle in the race. How are people giving him the same rating as Kimi Lamel? Yeah, wait, we gave Kimi a 6. He's gonna be better than a 6 by far. He'd also been close in qualifying, but he had bottled his first sector. Do you give any weight to who their teammate is when rating? Yeah. Obviously, when I say we take bias out, we still obviously look at the teammates and how good they are. So yeah, like Antonelli should have been closer to Russell, but then again, it's Russell. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna say 7.5 for George. You guys, majority of you guys saying 7. So we're agreeing here. We're agreeing on basically everyone here. This is lovely. Will we agree on the top 4 though? Okay. The big one. The big one. Lando Norris. What do you rate Lando Norris's weekend? Poll is up. Get your vote in. Ooh. This is gonna be the most spread one. Oh my god, look at it. It's already spread already. Holy shit. Oh. Remote, thank you for the follow, dude. It doesn't matter what I rate him. There's gonna be people who agree and people who disagree after look at this poll. Holy. All right, let's talk about it. Qualifying. He went out in he went out in last. He qualified 10th. He got out qualified by Gasly, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Antonelli, and Leclerc, which shouldn't be happening in McLaren. Even if he qualified 4th behind Russell, we'd probably still be sitting here being like, did you maximize qualifying? No. So the fact he's gone out in 10th and he's crashed, and sometimes you watch a qualifying lap and you watch a qualifying crash and you go, oh yeah, the car was really unstable, or oh, that was weird how the car like lost its balance there. No, it was honestly all Lando's fault. He's missed the apex. He's not missed the apex. He's come in too hot. He's drifted over the curb and slammed into the wall. Completely his fault. If I'm being honest, I think that's pressure. I think, you could tell he wasn't comfortable on that lap to have had that issue happen to him. And the fact it was a banker lap as well was even crazy to think. And obviously his teammates qualified P2, so a 8 position difference there. Poor qualifying. Should be top 2. We'll talk about it later with Piastri. Should be P1 to be honest, but he's at least should be fighting for P1. He's out in P10. Anyways, that set up a bad race for him. In the end, he's finished P4. But for him to get P4, let's remember, 2 people retired. People keep talking about he made up 6 positions. Yeah, 2 of them retired from the race. Would he have gotten past Gasly and Yuki anyway? Absolutely. But that would have hindered his chances at catching up to Leclerc. And who knows, maybe Russell would have been able to hang on to P4. But, I mean, then again, Russell completely fucked up his tires at the end of the day. But yeah, he's made up 2 positions on people who retired. He's been dummied by Lewis Hamilton twice. His race pace was good. He got the fastest lap. But, your race pace, you can't glaze someone's race pace when they should be finishing higher than P4. If he managed to recover to P3, I might sit here and be like, look, he made a mistake in qualifying, but at least he redeemed himself. But he didn't. He finished P4 with 2 retirements. And that just goes to show how much the fuck up in qualifying was. He's finished 9 seconds behind his teammate, which, to be honest, isn't that bad. I actually really like the strategy that McLaren did. I liked that they did invert different strategies between the 2 drivers because of the position they were starting in. But yeah, at the end of the day, quickest car on the grid, should be finishing at least in the top 3. There's still going to be an argument of if they did good or not, if they don't win the race. But yeah, shouldn't have qualified there. Very bad mistake. I don't think he did good enough in the race with 2 people retiring. I think his race pace was good, but it wasn't anything phenomenal. I think it just comes in a quali, man. It just comes in a quali. So I'm going to give Lando a... Ooh, this is tough. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say 5 because I think pace was there. Even the quali pace was there. and he finished somewhat close to where he should have. But bad mistake and not finishing where you should have, I think, means it just ends up being an average weekend for you. An average weekend. Maybe because it's performance, maybe like a 4.5. Like, I think he'd even agree with that. Like, you know, he should be beating Leclerc, and he should be in the mix with the top two. So, yeah, I'm going 4.5. I'm going 4.5. I think it just saying 5 just doesn't feel right. I don't know. Saying 5 doesn't feel right for a weekend like that. Yeah, but then I'm like, but then the car isn't as good as we think. Like, it should be getting P1. I'll say 5. You know, fuck it. We'll be kind to Lando for once. All right, let's have a listen to what you guys have to say about this, though. If it's below 5, you're fucking insane. Do you think Piastri can be the championship battle with Norris and Verstappen? Do you think Piastri can be in the championship battle with Norris and Verstappen? He already is. By far. He's more than in the championship fight. He's winning the championship fight. What the fuck? Arguably, he was the fastest man on track. Do you think Piastri can be in... wait a minute. That, terrible qualifying, but arguably better race pace than Piastri. I believe that is a 7 is fair. Better race pace than Piastri. I mean, Piastri's in first managing his tires because that's what you do in first. I don't know if you can say he had better race pace. Because Lando wasn't really up there pushing him. As a Lando fan, I say 3. Not his best weekend. Very difficult to go above 5 with the crash on the poor racecraft. Excuse me. He's also lost the championship title lead. Big hour. I do wonder how long he'd have been stuck behind Yuki and Pierre. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Would he have gotten stuck? Or would he be able to get past? Because the thing is, Lewis also got affected by those guys not being sorry. Lando was able to get past Lewis somewhat easily because Yuki and Gasly weren't there, and Yuki and Gasly would have been stuck behind Lewis. An average weekend for Lando would be at least a podium, so I say 4. Whoever said 10 just didn't watch the race. I mean, they're trolling, aren't they? Who the hell asked that? Better race pace than Piastri. Lando's race pace was worse than Leclerc's. For anyone wondering, your listener made a video comparing the quality laps between Max and Oscar. The tow was worth 0.05. Right. Is the championship leader in the fight with us? All right. Yeah, I'm going 5. I think... But then again, like, 4th in the car that should be on the podium with 2 people retiring. I'll go 4.5. I'm going 4.5. All right, majority of you guys saying 4. But look at that spread. We've got 8, 7, 6s, 5, 4s, and 3s. Crazy. The spread on that is wild. All right. Next up, we have got Charles Leclerc. We're on to the top 3 now. Get your votes in. If you're over on YouTube or TikTok, come to the Twitch stream. Come get your votes in on the poll. What do you rate Charles Leclerc's weekend? So, Charles, in qualified P4. He was 2 tenths off of Russell in front, but he out-qualified his teammate by 6 tenths. I think he's put the Ferrari exactly where it should be in qualifying. Until Ferrari, aka Leclerc, prove me otherwise, I think that's probably the best Ferrari can do. I don't think they're in the fight with Max, the McLarens, or even Russell at this point in qualifying, but we'll see as the weeks go on. So honestly, great qualifying from Leclerc. And then in the race, he managed to beat Russell. Obviously, Russell didn't do a good job of managing his tires, but I think as much as the Mercedes wasn't good in race pace, I also think Leclerc's just done an amazing job. But he's also managed to hold off Lando to finish in P3, holding off Lando. And he only finished 6 seconds off of Max, which is wild. 8 seconds off of the lead of the race. And the safety car was so early on in the race. So honestly, an amazing race from Leclerc. Yeah, I can't give it a 10 because it wasn't a perfect weekend. Like a perfect weekend would have been like qualifying in the top 3. Yeah, like I think like it's hard, right? It's hard because I still feel like Leclerc did the max he could, but you know, 10s have to be reserved for like outstanding, perfect results for me. Yeah, I think maybe in qualifying is. If I 100% knew Ferrari weren't capable of getting P4s, it would be a 10. But I think getting a P4 is like, oh, you did your job and did it very, very well. So yeah, I'm gonna go 9.5. I don't think he really did anything wrong. He's had a really good qualifying, done exactly what he should, had a really good race, absolutely maximized the race, outperformed the car in the race. Yeah. I just don't think it can be a 10. I just don't think it can be a 10 because I think he's done what he should in the Ferrari in quali. And, I mean, yeah, the race was really good. Yeah. 10, you gotta be perfect. 10, you gotta be perfect. He put 30 seconds on Lewis too. Yeah, 30 seconds on Lewis in the race is crazy. I think performance is 10. He maximized the car, so how is it not a 10 even with the quali he did? He drove the mediums for the longest stint ever. Qualified high up, got the maximum. Not a 10 is wild. Really? Okay, interesting. I don't think Leclerc would be a 10 this weekend. Let me scroll back up to beat you guys up. Easy 10, unreal 10. What the fuck? Fries in the bag 10. Amazing weekend. He was so good in the qualifying. Even better race. Did so good finding pace in the mediums and going long. I'm saying 9. Maximize the car in every session. Nothing more he could do. He was quicker than Norris in the race overall. I think the Red Bull is faster. Has its more peaky. He and Hedger were the tire whisperers. Ferrari have the 3rd fastest car behind McLaren and Merc. I'd say that a 9.5 would be most deserving rating. A 10 rating should be given out only on rare occasions. Yeah, I agree with that. You might ask me, well, what could have he done to get a 10? I think being slightly closer to the front pack in qualifying would have been better. But yeah, and I guess also the argument of like some people argue that he hung on to P3 because of Lewis's defending. I don't think that's true. I think it was just the dirty air. Yeah. I think if we were at a track where overtaking was easier. Yeah, I mean, there's not many tracks now, right? Then maybe I'd be like, yeah, but I think Lando just got stuck on the dirty air. People still saying Red Bull was 4th fastest car. What am I reading? But how do you know good race pace means good quality pace? The Ferrari was the 9th fastest car through turn 1. That was 90% of his losses in qualifying. Really? 9th fastest car in turn 1. How the fuck are they losing so much time there? That's crazy. All right, majority of you guys are saying 10. Okay, I can't agree personally, but I will give him a 9.5. I will give him 9.5. All right. P2. Set on you. P2. We have got Max Verstappen. What do you guys rate Max Verstappen's weekend? Get your votes in on the poll. Yeah, interesting one. I think this might be a little bit polarizing as well. Oh, maybe not. Everyone's fucking saying 9. Okay. I thought there's been a bit more spread. I think more people would have been harsh on the penalty and stuff. Okay, Max Verstappen in qualifying. Shuts up. Max Verstappen in qualifying. Pole. Absolutely maximized qualifying. Yes, the car is capable of getting poles, but it probably shouldn't be getting. The car, Red Bull were definitely not the 4th fastest car this weekend. They were definitely 2nd or 3rd. You know, it's still really hard to tell with the Red Bull. The second driver dicking about at the back and dicking about far off Max. It's really still hard to tell like where the Red Bull is, but I do think it was better than Mercedes this weekend. That's for sure. But then again, is it capable of getting pole? 100%. But, you know, Max getting pole, it's down to Max. It's down to Max at the end of the day. And obviously Yuki. That toe that Yuki gave edged Piastri to get pole. So, yeah, props to the team. Props to Max for being able to get pole. I think he's done amazing. And then in the race, he's had a bad race start. At the end of the day, looking at how the race played out, he could have won. He should have won. But he had a poor race start. He's 50-50'd going off track to try get away with a pen. He's gone in the pen. He still managed to finish in P2 with a penalty. He still managed to finish ahead of Lando Norris. I think Leclerc had good race pace. I think, again, still relative to where that Red Bull is. Relative to where the Red Bull is, I think he's done a good job to hang on to P2 and be so close to Piastri. I mean, I said it before with Lando, like, I think Piastri wasn't pushing as hard as he normally would, just because, like, he is in first. But yeah, I think qualifying was amazing, and I think his race pace was amazing. It's just the race start that cost him. So at the end of the day, he had the chance at the win, and, even though Max winning in the race probably shouldn't happen, if that makes sense, with the way McLaren having the quickest car at the moment. I forgot where I was going with that. What was I going to say? When your mind just goes completely blank? I can't remember what I was saying. Anyways, I'm going to say 8.5. At the end of the day, he could have got first. Even though he shouldn't have got first, he could have got first. So yeah, I'm knocking 1.5 off for the bad race start, because it did cost him the result. Yeah, maybe even 8.5 is too low. Maybe an 8.5 is too low. Maybe it should be a 9. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is 8.5 too low for only losing one position in the race? Or is that fair? Because we're harsh on Lando for not finishing where he should, and Max hasn't finished where he should, if that makes sense. But then again, he shouldn't be finishing P1, but he should have, given where he started the race. Given his only mistake was the start, I think 9. It was close to perfect. Okay, put it this way. If he was in the best car, it would be an 8, because he should have finished P1. But the thing is, he shouldn't have been P1 and in a position to even win that race. So I'll go 9. I'll go 9 because he shouldn't. At the end of the day, he still finished where he should. But we're knocking one. Think about this. We're knocking 1 point off for Max because he finished where he should and not where he could have. Butchie mode, name of the volley. Bro lost the win in a bad start. Tab it to low. 8.75. Ultimately, P2 is a very good result of the weekend. Yeah, exactly. Had the pace to win and had a bad start. Got a penalty, turn 1, knocks it down to 8.5 for me. Yeah, I guess if you think that Max going for that move at turn 1 was a bad decision, I can understand what's an 8.5, but I don't think it was a bad decision. I think given his race start, which I've knocked 1 point off for, given his race start, I think it makes sense to try 50-50 at pen rather than giving the place back and just finishing the race P2. You may as well risk it. All right, we're in the poll there. Majority of you guys saying a 9. Lovely, lovely. All right, we move on to P1. It is your boy, Oscar Piastri, the new championship leader. Poll is up. Get your votes in. What do you rate Oscar Piastri's weekend? So Oscar Piastri qualified P2. He was only 10 milliseconds off of Max. And yeah, 1/10 ahead of Russell. And obviously we can't compare him to Lando because Lando binned it into the wall. Yeah, at the end of the day, it wasn't a perfect qualifying. He could have got on pole. I just like I've criticized Lando for, they do have the quickest car. Is it the quickest by far and it should be absolutely dominating? No. But at the end of the day, we expect them to get pole and he hasn't gotten pole. But Max got a toe. I still think Piastri should be getting pole without the toe. Either way, he's qualified P2. He's put himself in a position to win the race, which he's done, and he's dominated his teammate, obviously, who did nothing. But then again, like, we don't really have Lando to compare because he's fucking binned it in the wall. And then in the race, Piastri's had a better start than Max. But then again, it's not because Piastri's done anything insane. It's more because Max has had a bad start. I think he's done perfectly, pushing Max off track, aka he knows he's entitled to the corner as per the rules and push Max off. I would argue some drivers wouldn't have done what Piastri did. I would argue maybe a driver like Lewis, maybe a driver like maybe not Kimi Antonelli right now. Maybe even Lando. I actually think there's an argument that Lewis and Lando in Piastri's situation would have played it more careful into turn one or left room. Whereas Piastri, I feel like, did that perfectly. We'll never know. We'll never know. But I think Piastri's done that perfectly. And then his race pace was great. I think some people might like diss Piastri for his race pace because Lando was quicker and he went from P10 to P4 and only 9 seconds off. But Piastri's not pushing, man. Piastri is not fucking pushing. He's chilling out in front. He knows the dirty air is killing Max behind, so he's just chilling out in front. Anyways, amazing weekend for Piastri. Championship leader. Awesome stuff. I'm not giving him a 10 though. I am going to give him a 9.5. At the end of the day, he could have got pole and he didn't. And 10's a reserve for perfect weekends. And I think for me, comparing this weekend to Bahrain and Azerbaijan, where I gave him a 10, this wasn't as good as those two. Those two weekends he was flawless and he won the race purely himself. Whereas this, he won from Max's fumble and he should have got pole at the end of the day. Again, 9.5 is fucking amazing. I'm never dissing. I'm just justifying why I'm giving him a 9.5 and not a 10. I'm saying it right now. So the start of the season, I did my predictions and I put Piastri in P5 in the championship. If I could redo my predictions now, even with Max, I think Piastri's champion. If I have to make a prediction right now after 5 rounds, Oscar Piastri will win the championship at the end of this year. I still think the same reason I put Max as my champion in my preseason predictions. I still think Max is going to be in the fight all the way to the end. But honestly, right now, I think relative to where that Red Bull is and the form Piastri's in, I think Piastri will win the championship. And that's crazy to think, man. That is crazy to think. I'm a racist for not giving Piastri a 10. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, what are you guys saying about Piastri? Oh, we got ads. Fuck. I still think Piastri was not a car's length in front of Verstappen. Whoa, Joel, what is your problem, bro? I've never seen such a big Piastri fan in my life. Russell was quicker mid-track in Q3. 9.5, I think, was very good. Outsmarted Max in his own game, so 10 for me. If he got pole, would have been a 10. Yeah, I agree. It would have been a 10 if he got pole. Yeah. Burger King Crown winner 9. Wait, Burger King Crown winner? What the fuck does that mean? Would be 9.5 for me if I could vote that. Yeah, fair. Didn't gain enough points. Oh, I see. So people rounded up the 9 to a 10. Okay, wait, let's end this poll here. So majority of you guys... Oh, it's tied. Tied 9 and 10. Okay, let me redo this, but only add 9, 9.5, and 10. 9. Oh, fuck. 9. 9.5. 10. Alright. They're in fucky order. But type in chat what you vote for. I want to see if it makes a difference. Because maybe people were just rounding up, or maybe people were not rounding. You can't round down, but yeah. Easy 10, amazing quality, and very good race. Cruise to win. Where do I report stream for mental distress? What? It's obviously 9.5 because he lacked pace in the second stint to pull a gap, but start was perfect. Overtook Lewis right away. Yeah, exactly. Giving a 10 for him knocks down the value of a 10. A back of the grid drive to first is a 10. Not qualifying P2 in the fastest car. Yeah, exactly, Lopper. I completely agree. Again, it's not a diss to Piastri at all. It's just 10s have to be reserved for his Sao Paulo 2024s, have to be reserved for his race in Baku, stuff like that. Has to be reserved for Bahrain, where he does absolutely nothing wrong. Chat experience with triple if Joel's was gone. All right, there you go. He's gone now. Bro's call you a racist for not voting him a 10. I do think people are just blaming Max for having a poor start, but it's also Piastri having a great start. No, exactly. Yeah, true, Patty, true. Max teammates have scored points only once. If you replace Verstappen with Perez, Red Bull would be behind Williams. Considering the pace of McLaren, he should be on pole even without Max getting that small toe. Yeah, I agree. This stream is giving me mental distress. Matt and Tommy have much better predictions. Okay, well, fucking go watch Matt and Tommy then, you weirdo. Now, the second stint he was managing, fully believe he still had extra pay. No, I agree. Oscar was ahead of Lando in the standings after Jeddah last year as well, so you never know. Yeah, true. Kyla, thank you for the follow. Well on the stream. Yeah, but I'm not looking at the standings necessarily. I'm just looking at, like, the current performance. So, yeah. All right. So, majority of you say 9.5. Yeah, okay, so most of us agree it would be a 9.5 then. Anyways, guys, that is it. That is it for our driver ratings. Well done, Oscar, on a 9.5. Well done, Leclerc on a 9.5. And I think who was our top three? Lando, Leclerc, and Max, I guess, or Alonso, or Signs. Oh yeah, Signs. What did we give Signs? 9.5. Yeah. 9.5. Still perfect weekend still. Anyways, guys, that is it for driver ratings for today. If you enjoyed, hit the follow button down below. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, if you don't know, every single Monday after a Grand Prix weekend, we do a Grand Prix review and our driver ratings. So join me in 2 weeks' time for the Miami Grand Prix rankings. Oh God, sprint weekend ratings are always hard for sprint weekends. But yeah, I really enjoyed the ratings today. It was very civil. It was very good chatting. I felt like I spoke well all day today during the GP review as well. But specifically the ratings, I really enjoyed that. We only disagreed on Yuki, I think. Yuki was the only one we disagreed on. Everyone else basically agreed on. It was a little bit of a spread on some drivers, but it was really good. I really enjoyed ratings today. I think now, do you know why? I think it's because every single person, so I think it's because everyone knows the pecking order now. Whereas those early Grand Prix, people would be like, no, Ferrari's there, no, Red Bull's there, no. So now it's like, we know the pecking order and we can kind of like rate better, which is a lot more better for like discussions and stuff. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the follow button down below, YouTube and TikTok. I'm going to end the stream there as we wrap up on Twitch as well. So I'll catch you guys later. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.